Join the webcast. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Good evening. Welcome to the Village of Wappinger Falls monthly regular meeting of the Mayor and the Board of Trustees for Wednesday, November 10th, 2021. Pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for coming. Clerk, any announcements
Not that I'm aware of, Mayor.
or correspondence?
We do have some correspondence. I'll put it at the end of the agenda under personnel.
Is it correspondence that
It's,
could
I can read it.
Open
A letter received from the Water Department member, Miss Marie White, notifying the mayor of her intentions to retire January 3rd, 2022, after many long years of service.
be over 30 years, I might add? Okay.
Want to entertain a motion
Yes.
to accept the resignation?
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
Second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Mayor votes aye. Carried. Thank you. Okay. Clerk, roll call.
Mayor Sereno,
Present.
Trustee Sadati, absent. Trustee Ponte,
Absent.
absent. Trustee Nesnick,
Here.
Trustee Huber,
Present.
Trustee Ruffin,
Present.
Trustee Lauricella,
Here.
Village Attorney Wallace.
Here.
We have two hearings scheduled for this evening. Local Law 1 and Local Law 2. Attorney Wallace, did you want to take us through that hearing? Or do I have a motion to open the hearing?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second.
In favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mayor votes aye. Carried.
Okay.
Okay. Attorney?
All right. So, as the board knows, we've been talking about the marijuana opt-out legislation under the Marijuana Cannabis Act that was passed by the New York State Legislature back, I believe it was in 2019. And that established legal dispensaries and a mechanism for on-site consumption, which will be overseen by a cannabis control board, which is akin to the Alcohol Beverage and Control Administrative Agency that oversees the sale of alcohol in our state. So it's going to be a system like that. As you all are aware as well, in order for a municipality to make a statement that they do not want such a business inside their borders, they would have to take action to opt out of the proposed statute or the proposed local law. And before we can adopt the local law, as you know, we have to have a public hearing. So we're at that stage right now for public hearing. And it's been opened, and it's now open to the public for anyone here who would like to comment on the proposed local laws. At the end of the conclusion of the public hearing, you will be asked to consider option 1, which is the cannabis dispensary, option 2, which is on-site consumption. You can adopt both. You can not adopt both if you would like, but the local law it's being submitted to you separately so that in the event you choose one and not the other, it would be easier to manage and to document up to Albany. So, Mayor, if you open the public hearing to the public, ask anybody to step up who has comment, state your name, address, and speak into the mic. We have a mic up there?
Now, the root mic's on.
Well, the public hearing's open. Anyone wants to talk about this, they're welcome to.
Don't be shy, guys.
I'll step up.
Margaret, yeah.
All right.
My name's Margaret Walker. I live at 27 North Mizzier Avenue. And I would like to see the village adopt both of these local laws to opt out of both on-site consumption as well as dispensaries within the borders of the village. My reason, just very briefly, is that I have been an attorney in Dutchess County for many years, done both prosecution and criminal defense, and so in that capacity I've seen a lot of the effects of marijuana and the use of cannabis substances and some of the harmful effects that can bring. So I'm not in favor of seeing either the sale in the village or certainly on-site consumption. I feel even more strongly, of course, about the on-site consumption, which is, I see as local law number 1. But I would ask the board to consider opting out of both, especially given that I think it's a cautious approach insofar as you could always opt in later, but if you don't opt out now, you can't opt out later. So the village can always change its mind with respect to one or both of these in the future when we see maybe what other municipalities are doing and what's happening with other these cannabis dispensaries, which is going to be kind of a whole new thing that we're seeing. That's my input. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Mayor, you can continue the public hearing into the next meeting if you would so like.
This is one of 2 public hearings.
This is okay. So in that case, you would want to adjourn the public hearing and keep it open to the next meeting.
Well, we'll adjourn this public hearing,
Is there a motion?
but
A motion.
keep it open for next week. We'll adjourn this public hearing for this week.
I'll make that motion.
And a second?
I'll give it a second. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, just if you could put on the record when the second public hearing will take place.
There will be a question of, the next regular meeting is the 24th, which is 2 weeks from now. It happens to be the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Does the board choose to change that date from the 24th perhaps to the 23rd, which would be a Tuesday night meeting? Or do you want to have the meeting for the 17th, which would be next Wednesday? Any issues with board members on changing the date, first of all?
17th, I won't be in town,
Okay.
so I'd have to go for the other one.
It's the 23rd? Well, it could be a different date. It could be, you have until the end of the month, actually, so.
We got to post the meeting for 10 days, correct? If we do one.
No, it's already been posted.
No, but I'm saying the meeting now.
No,
No, I can do a change of the meeting.
it would be a continuation of a public hearing, so you're keeping it open.
Well, he means the meeting that's already scheduled for the last Wednesday. I can fix that.
Well, we can have the 23rd, the 29th, or the 30th. 29th and 30th is a Monday and Tuesday after Thanksgiving. And the 23rd is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
Do the 23rd.
I moved the 23rd, yeah.
So we
That's
have
fine.
one at least for the 23rd, two for the 23rd. Adam?
Is this a 5 o'clocker?
Yeah.
So I probably
We
won't,
can change the time to 6.
I may not be able to attend any of them. Just so you know.
That's unfortunate. Yeah? Any input?
The
Weigh in? 23rd?
23rd is fine with me.
6?
Yep.
Okay.
Why don't we just postpone it to December's meeting? This way the board can have plenty of time to go look, talk to their constituents, because we didn't get an agenda and an email tonight, or any other night, we can go through.
Do you want to postpone the November workshop to the regular board meeting?
So you're saying just do away with it altogether?
Correct.
I'm good either way. I mean,
Mike?
We're gonna lose a board member if you have it at 6.
Mike?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Then we'll all be here.
Okay, so,
Be at 7 o'clock.
to answer the question, the second public hearing will be at the December board meeting, which is December 8th,
8th, 7 p.m.
7 p.m.,
December 8th.
with the workshop for November being canceled. Okay,
Calendar.
all in favor, give me a motion and a second,
Motion made.
and a second.
Second.
Let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mayor votes aye. Carried.
The second hearing for this evening is Local Law 2 opting out of licensing to establish retail cannabis dispensaries within the village. We have a motion to open that hearing.
I'll make it.
Second.
Vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mayor votes aye. Carried. Okay. Same deal here. Attorney Wallace?
Yeah, we're going, I take it we're going, these are companion motions, or companion local laws, so I assume that the board's pleasure is to adjourn both local laws to the same date.
Correct.
I make the motion.
Second that motion.
For December 8th board meeting of the Mayor and Board of Trustees at 7 p.m.
Who made all of that? Kevin?
Trustee Huber, seconded by Trustee Ruffin.
Okay. Next on the agenda,
We got to come out of this one first.
you adjourned it.
Oh, we heard? Okay.
Yeah, we kept it, the public hearing is kept open on motion and adjourned.
My fault.
Action on minutes, October 8th, October 13th, and October 27th.
Motion to accept
I'll make
So
it.
moved.
on the 3 sets of minutes, and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Authorization to pay bills as approved by the warrant.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
On a question, any question on the budget amendments? The debits and the credits?
We didn't get to that yet, Mayor.
We went over it though, so I don't have any questions.
That's further down the line. Okay, so we're gonna go over, could they all carry on that, pay the warrant?
Oh, you're talking about the normal bills?
Yeah.
Motion to approve the bills that have been audited by the Finance Committee. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Carried.
Then
Mayor
we-
votes aye.
We skip over the rest of that page, which is local law 1. And resolution 1, skip over that. Skip over local law 2.
Should be at page 8.
Page
Yeah.
9, it looks like.
Skip over page 7, which is local law.
Page 8, right down here at the bottom.
Down at the bottom, page 8. Approval to hire Salim Agha and Daniel Cachado as hourly police officers up to 39 hours per week, consistent with Dutchess County Personnel Civil Service Guidelines.
This is probably,
The list was canvassed. They were reachable. And we sent the paperwork up to the county, and they affirmed that it was fine, that you can make that.
fine. So is there a motion for these two prospective employees for the 39-hour slot?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mayor votes aye.
Next are the,
Carried.
thank you. Next are the budget amendments you spoke of, Mayor.
Okay. So on page 9, you will see the amendments. Everyone in concurrence on the debits and the credits? If so, motion to accept the budget amendments?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mayor votes aye.
Was that trustee Ruffin?
Yes, sir.
It was trustee Niznik and trustee Ruffin.
Next on the agenda is
Carried.
resolution number 25, 2021 of 2021, resolution employing conflict attorney to the Village of Wappingers Falls for special prosecutions. Be it resolved that Angel I. Falcone Esquire be and he hereby is employed and retained as conflict attorney to the Village of Wappingers Falls for special prosecutions. Whenever Craig Wallace Esquire or anyone from the firm of Wallace & Wallace LLP is unable to provide legal services because of any professional conflict. Be it further resolved that Angel Falcone shall be paid for such service at a rate of $175 per hour. The foregoing must be voted on. Roll call vote.
Who will introduce this resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Who will second it?
I'll second it.
Are you Angel? Oh, okay.
No, he's a new village resident, lives up on West Main Street.
Okay. No, I seen you perk up when we started talking about it. I just maybe thought it was you. Aye.
Roll call vote. Mayor Sereno,
Aye.
trustee Huber,
Aye.
trustee Sadati is absent, trustee Nesnik,
Aye.
trustee Ruffin,
Aye.
trustee Ponte is absent, trustee Lauricella,
Aye.
carried.
The motion has carried 5-2.
Next on the agenda is resolution number 26, 2021 of 2021, resolution authorizing modification and extension agreement to contract for garbage collection services. Whereas the Village of Wappingers Falls has previously entered into agreements with Penichi
Anici.
Amel.
Holding Corporation, Royal Carting, for garbage collection services within the Village of Wappingers Falls, and whereas said agreement has been amended and extended for time to time, and whereas Royal Carting has presented a proposal the village provide such garbage collection service through April 30th, 2022, as set forth in a proposed 2020 modification extension agreement, a copy of which is annexed here too. Whereas the village desires to enter into the modification extension agreement on the terms and conditions set forth in this agreement, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Wappingers Falls hereby accept the terms and conditions set forth and contained in the 2020 modification and extension agreement in effect through April 30th, 2022, and retroactive to May 1st, 2020, in the form annexed hereto, and authorizes and directs the mayor to execute the agreement by and on behalf of the Village of Wappingers Falls to provide a fully executed copy of the agreement to the village clerk. Who wants to make that?
Who's introducing the resolution?
Before we do, I'd like to recuse myself from this vote since I'm currently employed still by Royal Karting.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
On a question, any questions?
Mayor Sereno,
Aye.
Trustee Huber, recuse?
Recuses himself because he's an
Trustee.
employee of Royal.
Yep. Trustee Sadati's absent. Trustee Nesnek.
Aye.
Trustee Ruffin.
Aye.
Trustee Ponte's absent. Trustee Lauricella.
Aye.
You have enough, Mayor.
It carries 4-3.
No, 4-0. 2 absences and 1 abstention.
They didn't vote for it, it's 4-3.
Resolution number 27, 2021 of 2021, resolution creating a second alternate for the Board of Commissioners for the Village of Wappingers Falls. I was told that we should hold off on this.
I think that's the opinion of the attorney.
Yes, I think that,
It has to be integrated with the bylaws.
yeah. It's not in the original text of the bylaws. I would like to include it. And so I asked that this be tabled to the December 8th meeting.
May I ask a question about this?
Sure, on a question, sure.
Yes. What specifically prompted you to want,
Well, we're investigating whether or not we need another alternate on the water board because the chairwoman will not physically be present at a couple meetings starting at the first of the year, maybe
That-
3.
okay.
And Zoom may not be acceptable with her being out of state.
Okay, that's fair. I'd also just like to ask if you could, let the board and the village residents know, are we having any issues with anyone that's just habitually not attending as a water board commissioner? Requiring a second, because we already have one, so if chairperson, if
The alternate has traditionally been attending these meetings, and he has filled in while there was an absence.
Okay, so there's a main person that's supposed to be there that's consistently not there.
I would say at least since I've been mayor, he has consistently not been there. I
Okay.
think he's attended 2 of the 7 meetings.
Okay, is there
Trustee
any,
Huber it's at least 2 of the 7
Yeah.
that he's attended.
I missed one last month because I got stuck at work.
well, I understand, things happen.
He was
My
at-
question is, am I to understand correctly that if someone on the water board misses 3 or more meetings, they are,
I don't see that in the rules.
no, okay, that's fair.
There was discussion, though, with the chairperson, and this item did come up at the water board meeting of which I attended. And she said, well, perhaps we make different recommendations in April.
Okay, that's good.
There is a procedure, though, to answer your question for removal, but that would not be, I guess, proper until that person has a due process right as well to,
Sure.
so.
Well, no, I just make, if the person's not able to come, or maybe the person's not interested. So it might not involve like a big hearing, you might just be able to say, hey, you never come. are you interested? We're still, I mean, I noticed you're cashing the $200 check. Would you like to participate or not? And maybe they'll be like, you know what? I'm not interested.
Your point's well taken. I
Yes.
mean, there's been some discussion with that.
Yeah, it doesn't, I don't mean like we have to put the person on a trial. I just thought maybe they're like, yeah, life's getting in the way. I can't participate. And maybe it'd be like, well, thanks for your service and next.
We'll find someone else, right?
Yeah.
Adam raises a very good concern here. If we're looking into changing those bylaws for a second alternate, what about changing them to give the chairperson a tool to help the board by removal of that person who does not attend?
Yeah, the bylaw, the proposed
Person or
bylaws
persons.
actually, pretty much spells out the 3 absence rule.
What does pretty much mean? Because that's a very gray area.
Well, there's 3, it involves discretion for removal. And, there's some good cause in there, but that's why it's a little bit gray, but it's not a hard and fast 3 and you're out.
Well,
I would ask them to just do a.
but can we
general labor.
ungray that somehow? Can we
Well,
propose this
to do
to
it.
help them, to help the village?
I disseminated to everybody, so why don't you just give me some comment and feedback, and I'll be happy to, talk to you.
Well, since we're on this subject, I don't think it's discretionary. I have a personal opinion. You miss 3 meetings, especially on this committee, it's just like baseball. You're out.
Especially when we have so many hardcore
Well
projects
said.
going on.
We only
Yeah.
have,
That was a
Very
good
well
one.
said.
we only have
I might
3
use that.
members.
3 members and 2 huge projects. We need decisions.
That's just my feeling. That's just my feeling on that.
I agree.
Agreed.
All right, so yeah, Craig, if you could please look into those 2 items, the second alternate and then changing bylaws to help the chairperson of that board to get things done, that would be great.
Absolutely. If the
Thank
board
you.
wants any board members want to call me privately to, if they have any comment or proposed revisions, be happy to listen.
Right, and I would just reiterate, maybe it's worth just reaching out in a friendly question. Would you be interested in stepping down and letting someone else fulfill the role as water commissioner? Because at a time where we're looking to build a new, facility or filtration system, we're exploring some grants, opportunities, and brokering a deal with the town of Poughkeepsie to purchase water. We really need all hands on deck, and if we don't have the interest, then maybe that'll be a simple way to get somewhere. So if someone would please, I don't know who the if it's the mayor or if it's Clerk Carge, or maybe somebody can do that. Why maybe not?
Well, I can write the letter, but it'd be more effective if the mayor signed it,
That may just be
or
a
Mary
simple-
signs it, I don't know. We're getting into this water business now that we never got into before. So I can write it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
We'll need a motion to table this to the December
I'll make it.
8th.
I'll second it.
Looks like we had the questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mayor votes aye.
Now we get into the monthly updates of the committees.
Police?
Nothing, I know Commissioner had emailed each of us some stats, so everybody did get them, I'm assuming. If you have any questions, you can reach out to the Commissioner. Other than that, just the hiring, well, actually, one is currently already employed with us, and additional hiring of the part-timer to fill the 39-hour slots.
Okay. Finance?
Well, we had our monthly meeting, and I may need Mike or Jennifer to help me articulate which money we saved, because I don't have my notes with me, but I know there was about there was a big chunk of money that we were able to, we might be able to pay down some debt or reallocate.
It's on page 9.
I don't have it though.
Oh,
Oh, and no, not, the 40 some.
yeah, they're in there.
Oh, is it?
Up at the top. the-
Oh, yeah.
The
So,
fund revenue.
right, but I don't know where it came
Yeah,
from.
there's several
3 or
items
4
on,
different.
like leases that we're about to blend into refinancing.
Right.
So these are monies that we're gonna save out of this year's budget.
So it was worth, I didn't know, I don't have the root, I can't recall where they came from, but they were some auto leases and things like that, and so,
Approximately 36,000 that we just discovered in this last meeting, so.
which was nice, and
Like the
we're
chief's
gonna
vehicle
guard it for a
purchase
time,
and
and
mobile
then,
radios.
you know, trustee Niznik made the point, and I think we all agreed that rather than holding it and just finding a way to spend it, we'd like, if we don't have the need, we'd like to try to service some of our debt with it, so it felt like a small victory. I did have one question about bills in the upcoming month. The mayor and I met with DOT and Mr. Podgy and Nancy Clark from Casey Engineering. My question is, are we being billed for that meeting? Will we be billed for that meeting with Casey Engineering?
You get billed for every meeting with Casey Engineering.
Okay. Good, so we will be faced with
That's a
having
fair
to
assessment by the clerk.
sign off on that. Okay, that's fine. Seems like a meeting that I prefer the village taxpayer not be billed for.
You'll have that opportunity when the bill comes out. I'll talk to the treasurer Friday.
I'd like to
Monday.
preemptively
She'll be out Friday,
flag
Monday.
that because I did, you know, when I first came on, there was a few things that I had pulled and was told, well, it's a little late to pull them, but that's how it works. We go, we sit in, we're told to, you know, sign off on all these bills, and if you have, that would be the time that you pull the bill, and then you're told, well, that's a little late. So trying to get ahead on that. I understand she was there, but seemed like an unfortunate meeting with not the best end result, and you know, we weren't billing the village taxpayer, so I don't know if she should be.
You talking about the meeting up on, by Dairy Queen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Highway.
I can fill in for Pat. We had a meeting Monday. I met with Pete on Friday, or I think it was Friday, the week before, same meeting you guys went to on Monday, about the Route 9 manhole covers. And they're supposed to have a meeting on Monday, and Rancor's been into the, I'll say the holding station. Everybody knows it's a dump, but the holding station. They cleaned up all the brush and material. Hogan's Tree Service is in the park, cleaning up those branches and trees, and I think they're done in Mizzier. They might be down in Betts. I didn't see them in Mizzier Park today. And they're doing leaf vacuuming for this month. So if you've got leaves, you can put them out in the street. They'll come by and suck them up. And that's basically it for them.
Can I maybe offer a couple things regarding the meeting that I did have with DOT, just to let you guys know? It seemed very clear that there was an error in that's led us to face this emergency temporary fix on the 6 or 9 manhole covers?
Six of them.
And it seemed very clear from everyone's perspective, other than perhaps Nancy Clark's from Casey Engineering, that either the product was a problem that caused the failure, or the methodology of repairing and compacting the material, and or probably, and the design of the works.
So to speak.
Well, of the from when we had the big the initial. So, you know, it was really, the DOT was kind and gracious and maybe wasn't gonna throw anyone under the bus, but it was clear that it was a problem from the get-go. The other thing that became clear was that we should have, the people in the village are expected to have a guarantee for a year in the workmanship from the contractors that do the work. They had a situation where several of the manhole covers failed, or the material surrounding the manhole covers failed. That was repaired in May of 2019. When our current DOT rep took her position in March of 2020, there was already a fully worked up document flagging these multiple things, these multiple areas, manhole covers, having had a failure that needed to be corrected. So that is under the year. It is less than a year from we had a failure, they repaired it. And we had another failure in under the year, and what I understand it to be is that the work is guaranteed for a year. And then if you repair it again, the work should be guaranteed for a year. So I understand that the taxpayers being forced to repair this. But it's clear to me from having my second meeting, one where we met, the mayor and I and Mr. Podgy were standing there looking at it with our own eyes. And as I believe Kevin or Mike Ruffin pointed out at the last meeting, the engineering plans showed for 6 foot by 6 foot. And I think it was you. And clearly, I mean, some of them are like 1.5 foot. So I just think we're being jerked around. I want to be really clear. I think anyone who's watching this, we should really work to try to be transparent with this. The people that have taken the time to sit here, we're being jerked around. We're being denied. Casey's denying any problems or any culpability, and that these problems are not from design. It's become clear that the manhole covers were low, and we're being told, well, we just replaced them in kind, meaning we replaced them in the exact same fashion, but they were low. So the DOT kind of was like, well, why would you do that? If they were low, why would you put them low? I just think it's important to let people know that, because not everyone can take their time to find out this information by going to these meetings. And if you don't go to these meetings, you're not going to know what's really going on. But we're going to have to now find money to repair things because of people not doing the job correctly or not using the correct equipment. And we're going to have to do it now twice, because we have to do an emergency temporary fix now and then one permanent fix in the spring. And it's unfortunate because now this is going to be some of these manhole covers by the spring. It'll be like the 4th or 5th time they've been done in like a year and a half. So I think we really need to expect more from our contractors, more from our consultants, and we've got to get a grip on this, because it's totally inappropriate and it's embarrassing and it's shameful. And when you stand at a meeting and it's crystal clear and you're tight-lipped and really just want to send off a letter saying it's got nothing to do with me, I just want the Village of Wappingers to know it does have something to do with them, and they're taking the low road. So.
And what are we going to do about it?
Well, we have to fix them because the DOT's required. We have to repair them because it's a hazard, it's dangerous, and come plow season, the plows are going to get damaged. And if we damage a plow from some of our failures and not maintain, we're being told that this is maintenance, which it's not maintenance, it's just the way that Nancy Clark is going to try to shove it off on your tax dollar.
But it's falling back on us again.
Right, well,
And
so
Well,
Yeah,
there's-
you're right, I'm just, that's what I'm trying to tell you, so you know
What are
it.
we supposed to do about it if they're not gonna,
Well, you're supposed to just let us fix it. That's what we have to do. We have no choice.
Well, the DOT position is this. We have to maintain what we own, and we own the sewer lines under that road. And part of the sewer line is the manhole and the cover. Now, the original work was done when they did contract 4, which was a $7.3 million contract. And this item was included, 11 or 13 manholes, was included, part of the contract of the 7.3, which was $36,000.
And that was
Right, so was it-
2008,
was
was
it-
that 2018, Mayor?
Yes, so this is 2018 when this is being done. Some of them failed and they were done over. Now,
When were they done over again?
in 2019,
May of 2019, and 66% of those have now failed.
There were 3 manholes done in,
So it was 2019 underneath the 1
2019.
year?
yes.
Did we still have money that we retained back?
Well, I think what trustee Lorzell was trying to say is, so the project was done in 2018. You had 1 year to pay the contractor the rest of their money back that we held whole, but 3 of them failed.
Before the year?
Before the year or on the year. I think what trustee Lorzell was trying to say
Hold your
is,
point, excuse me. When they were completed though, DOT signed off that the work was acceptable and so did KC. Subsequently, some of them failed.
yes, 3 of them. So I think what trustee Lorzell was
But they
trying to
failed
say
within
is,
the year.
yes,
We still had money for up to a year.
yes,
If
and
they
then
failed within the year, who signed the money off?
KC.
So they were failed
But then they had to do it again,
and the money was signed off on
Right.
yes.
when they failed.
And the other
within
thing
year.
is, you know,
I
KC,
understand that DOT though inspected those.
Yes, DOT inspected and signed off that the work was done
and we're also,
the way they,
They can sign off that it's done, but we still get that year to make sure there's not a failure. And it sounds like there was a failure, but we paid them anyway. Is that how,
And we
I'm
also-
asking, because I wasn't here then.
well, yeah, I wasn't here either, so I believe we paid them and now we have to pay for the repairs.
So somebody let the
And-
money go when the,
Right.
what I'm trying to say is somebody let the money go when the failure had already happened.
Right.
Yes. So
And so rather than just, you know,
here's the thing, is we shouldn't have to babysit our engineers and we shouldn't have to babysit the projects that we do in the village.
right, and two,
We pay all this money to do this work, we expect it to be done. You get a new driveway, you pay the guy, and it stays for 20 years. That's what we should be getting out of it. Our highway superintendent has a list, because he gave it to the mayor. I got the list, it's in my car. And I know majority of them, that our engineer has done the project, and we gotta go back and fix. One of them is a trustee's house, an ex-trustee's house, we gotta go back and fix. There's numerous projects throughout the village that this board has to allow our highway department and spend our tax dollars on these projects that get done twice. So I feel this has gotta stop, because it's not right.
sounds like poor engineering.
Poor engineering, correct.
we're also paying for people to supervise the work, independent, you know, they're subbed out by KC and they're there on site to supervise and we're paying them, I don't know how much an hour.
$90 an hour.
$90 an hour, thank you, overnight. And what are they what are we getting for that $90? What are you getting for that $90 an hour?
Somebody dropped the ball.
So we've, you know, I just want you all to know the really what, you know, the real thing that's happening. Because,
Look at the lights on West Main Street. In the last year, they're down. And it's just,
well,
Can the village bring a claim, a lawsuit against KC and try to get some compensation? If there's a defective design or product?
It's something that should really not be talked about here, so.
It's a good idea.
the bottom line is, this board is going to have to do 6 manholes over.
Correct.
That we know for sure. Now,
And we can't hesitate, we have to do it.
if the design and if our emergency contractor can't come up with the work schedule in the next week, we won't have this done before winter. That may be good or that may be bad. I don't know.
Well, like you said, with the plows and stuff, that it's not gonna be good.
But it's not going to be the way all of us see, at least from the village side, agree that they should be done. Okay? If you look at the manhole and you look at the square patch, or roughly square patch, it's between 4.5 and 5.5 square around the manhole. The patch really should be 12 foot wide, 12 foot long as you're driving down the road. It should be 12 foot wide, 12 foot long. Because if you have a differential in elevation of on the smaller square, you can't make that elevation. You're choking the blacktop, so to speak, to get it to grade from the high end to the lower end. But on a longer span, it's a more gradual grade. That's the theory. But that won't occur until the spring or into close to the summer. So we just have to do a temporary patch right now. And when they did the other ones, half of them failed. They did 11, 6 failed. So now we got to do these 6. Can't argue about the price. You can't argue about who's going to pay for what. We're going to have to pay it, and then do the recourse will be what the attorney advises us. Or we can have a nice chat with the engineering firm and say, hey, listen, you want to take some ownership for this? You know, and see what they say. But we have to do the repair, and ultimately we have to do the fix into next year.
Once again, we suffer.
Well, yes. We suffer to the extent that we don't like paying twice
product
for the
twice.
same work.
Yeah.
But I will just say that when they did the repairs, the first time and the second time, DOT signed off on the work.
Oh, when it looks good that night, that's probably why.
Well,
I mean, go back 6 months later and take a look at it and see if you still want to sign off on it.
And question, why did DOT refuse to do the repairs,
no-
the
I
short-term
have no-
repairs? They gave no explanation
I
on
have
this?
no idea why they refused to do the work.
They afraid of culpability or something?
I can't answer that. Call them up, I'll give you her number.
I
take it.
think I can explain why they are refraining from that, and it's because the asphalt at issue completely surrounds and encapsulates our manholes, which underneath that are very old, plumbing for our sewers.
Yes.
It's old infrastructure. This problem is not uncommon. If you go in the city of Poughkeepsie, they have a very old infrastructure like we do, and there are a lot of sunken manholes. Same problem. This is what happens when you have an old infrastructure underneath. So,
But I will tell you this, you can drive to Massachusetts and you go through Great Barrington, everyone in Great Barrington is done the same exact way that they're done in the village of Wappinger Falls. It's about a 6-foot square, and that they do the patch around it.
Well, 6 foot, then good. Ours aren't 6 foot.
Could be 5.5 feet, okay. They may not be
Probably
6
2.
foot. But I'm saying they seem to do them all this way, and they must have some kind of spec to do them when you have to raise the elevation of the manhole.
When the engineer was looking at these manholes, and you're saying because they're old and everything, they don't take that into consideration when they're doing this?
Oh, no, whatever parts they need, you can order up the parts. You can get extensions and everything else for the parts. I mean,
But
they
it's like,
literally,
you know, they're passing the buck. You're saying, you know, this one's not passing now because of its old pipes and all this.
no, what we're saying is that when you do a repair on the manhole, you mark out around the manhole and you pick a number of what you want the square to be. It's gonna be, say, 6 foot, 6 foot, and in the middle is the manhole with the cover. So, they rip out the blacktop, they chisel it out, and then at that point, they go down 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, and they start building it up. But if the manhole is low to begin with to the grade of the road, they may put a extension sleeve in. They pull off the piece that's right below the grade of the road. They actually pull it up.
You put a collar on it.
Right. They pull all that up and they build from a road level. And then they put the new collar on, and they then use a special blacktop, and they build it up until, and they let that cure. LSM, I think, the
It's concrete.
low strength, LSC, a low strength concrete. And then whatever, and you have to let it cure for at least 2 days. So they plate the road back, and then they wind up doing it and then putting the blacktop around it, finish the grade. The problem is, in the small square, you don't get the compaction as well as if it was a bigger area. You can't get the compaction as great.
Now, is this repairing manholes that we've already had, or are these manholes after the village did their water pipes and all this and repaved the roads?
No, the ones we're talking about are on Route 9. They're existing. There were, and which is all the more reason why we should try to get grants and run the sewer lines off the side of Route 9, up along, either in the sidewalk, do a sidewalk replacement, move the manholes into the sidewalk so you never have to face this problem again.
And how much?
Because you're always gonna have it, you're always gonna have this problem. Just always gonna have this problem. You can see the ones on 9D, and that's a DOT road. I'm surprised we haven't had calls to do the 2 or 3 that are on, or 4 maybe, that are on 9D in the first ward.
I've said that.
You know, it's a DOT road. This is going to be an ongoing problem. This is what happens, because even if it only settles a 1/2 inch, that 1/2 inch gets compounded when it sinks into in conjunction with the road. So. That's all I'm gonna say on that matter.
Okay, the next one was the Fire and Lake Committee. Trustee Huber.
Okay, I don't have my phone on me, so I stopped by the firehouse and got these numbers. I think they're correct. I'm pretty sure. There were 27 fire calls for the month of October. And I was in conversation with the president of WT Garner, Mr. Gary Rogers, and Garner's stove is broke. It doesn't work. And they can't get a new stove until they get a hood system. And I double checked with Brian upstairs, and it's something you have to do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you wanted to go out and even buy an electric stove or a gas stove or a residential stove at Home Depot, you'll still need the hood system in your firehouse because it is a commercial building. So I gave the other piece of paper to Trustee Ruffin, and Patrick's on vacation. I mean, I don't know what the board wants to do, but it's, what we say, Mike, almost 28,000?
Yeah, 21.9 and another for the stove itself as proposed, 6,600. So you're looking 28,500, 28,500.
And we got it.
Maybe we could get could we do?
For a stove and a hood system. Yeah, but
I mean, I never see.
it's all industrial, and you have to retrofit it to the building, so it would look very bad for our firehouse to catch fire.
One conversation, please.
They do their fundraisers, but again, this is our building. And if there is a disaster in this village, God forbid, I hope not, in my time or anybody's time, people are gonna go to the firehouse. That's the biggest building in the village. Both firehouses can hold people. We can cook if we have to, if there's a disaster. So, I mean, I believe this is something we have to do. Maybe we can talk to them, go halves. I mean, I don't know. But I'm just bringing this to the board's attention, see where we want to go with this for now. I don't know how that conversation will roll out, fall out there,
I
but
think we have to talk. What do you mean by that? How?
if we say we want to go halves, then they're going to say, they might say, this is your building. I mean, now they're going to say, because it's on TV.
Well, they're the only ones that use it, though.
They're the only ones that use it. But I do feel that this is a village building, and we need to take care of it. And whatever's
All
in,
volunteers.
They're all volunteers.
these are all volunteers.
No, I understand that, but don't they don't have any budget, any leftover money for anything, or?
The house budget wouldn't cover this.
Well, I don't mean the health budget, but maybe we can look into, I mean, $30,000, we're not talking about like $1,500, you know, to come out.
And I'm here to tell you, and then I'm knocking on.
What I was gonna say?
Johnson's firehouse is set up the same way as Garner's is, and we don't have that wood system. And our stove works, but, if it goes, I'm not saying we should do both of them at the same time, but keep in mind.
Maybe we should.
These are both old firehouses that have old stuff in it, and they lasted quite a long time.
Yes.
You got your money's worth out of it, and
This might be an item for next year's budget too.
With all due respect, we cut Trustee Ruffin off when you decided to have the side conversation. What were you going to say?
Kathy, what was your question? Don't remember.
I think she was just going, what?
Yeah, why, yeah,
$30,000?
it's gotta be retrofitted, the system, as Kevin had said, and everything in there is outdated and it was not installed to current specifications. Hence, the retrofitting, the hood and all that. The material and labor cost is $21,912, and the actual stove cost, as proposed, is $6,600, to answer your question.
so
So is Imperial Fire and Safety the only one who does this part of the work?
I'm not sure. But let me explain the hood system.
Are they the only ones out there?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I mean, I think
They're
actually,
very competitive. If you're asking, could you get like some great deal? Because it's going to be restaurant quality. Like everywhere when you go to the restaurants, that's what you're going to get.
It's gonna be
It's going to be like the big stainless, you know, with the Ansel system, the
Well,
fire
I'm just thinking
suppression.
this is a starting point. Obviously, it's something that we need to consider doing, so I think we should just look into it a little more, talk to Jessica, see where we might have some funds, and see if there's any way we can shrink this a little bit. Is there somebody else we can call? Is there other companies that do this same work? Did we only look at one of them? Did we only look?
Well, we have to get bids, of course.
Right, Duchess Restaurant equipment being kind of in that field, I know is rather expensive. So there's other companies out there that we can look for this stuff, so I think, you know, it might not be as much of a question as whether we need to do it or not. We probably do need to do it, but how we do it is a different thing, so
I
I
can
think
reach out to the president tomorrow.
we can definitely maybe do a little bit more research or homework and see if there's some way we can cut this bill down.
I also think we shouldn't count out the power of fundraisers. I mean, I've seen
Yeah, you see
firehouses
out
all
there
over
with
the
booth
area
drops usually very successful. I think maybe we could organize one of those.
involved in fun. And will they need a grease trap, Michael? You know?
That's a Brian
I
question.
think they already have one, because we have one.
Oh, you think they have one? Oh, okay.
Is it sufficient, should be
Yeah,
the
because
question.
that may,
Is it
we
sufficient?
may have to examine that too.
Well, here's the thing with, I understand the grease trap and I know how it works. And they always blame Johnson's Firehouse grease trap. It's clogging the system.
Yeah.
We don't cook. We cook once a month, right? We cook, you know, once a month. The grease that goes in our trap, I don't believe is gonna clog our system. There's a VFW and there's a restaurant, so, I mean, I don't think the firehouse is grease trap. I mean, if it's small or.
Well, no, if you have to go up to code, you have to go
Yeah.
up to
Right.
code.
Yeah.
And we're in the process of writing a new grease trap code right now.
Well, we can talk to Brian about that.
We have no choice.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be, otherwise we'll wind up with the boathouse where we didn't do what we were
Yeah, yeah.
supposed to do. We have a $700,000 building that is useless.
Yeah,
We
so
can't do that.
I'll reach out to Gary tomorrow and see if he can get 3 quotes, or 2 more at least, or what,
I
yeah.
just think we need to do a little more
I'll reach
research
out to,
on that.
I'll reach out to him tomorrow, and, you know, I said I'd bring it up. And I do feel strongly that, you know, it is a public building, and if something, God forbid, something ever happens, and we
Well-
have to use it,
What did you say about that building also being a shelter when we had our?
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
So
saying, it's a
you-
shelter, so if
You,
something ever happens
you
in the
need
village.
this. It's to be a shelter.
Well, there's no doubt that we need it. It's just, we
Yeah.
just gotta find, we just have to find the money.
Yeah, so, I mean,
And maybe they can help, maybe the firehouse can. While we're talking about the firehouse, have we heard about whether or not the firehouse will be using the ladder truck to help us with the Christmas lights? We've been trying, did we ever get
No
a?
response yet.
No response yet, so this is how, can you characterize the efforts that we've tried to get a response from Assistant Chief Ensign regarding the use of the ladder truck?
Well, there was an email sent by the clerk to said individual, and I think there's been a couple of phone calls.
3 or 4 calls from the
To the recreation chairman to said individual.
Okay. I did call Mike Travis and left a message for him after I spoke to another firehouse to see if we could have some assistance in doing it. They thought maybe I could talk to Mike Travis. I did leave a pretty detailed message yesterday. I did not hear back, so.
I just feel using a fire truck to hang Christmas lights is not great. It's a life-saving piece of equipment. This village bought a $900,000 ladder truck, not a $900,000 cherry picker.
Right.
And I've said this before, Chief Ensign knows I say this, I have no qualms of saying this. I just feel, this thing breaks down, the taxpayers are out.
Then if
We have to-
that's
we have to call
the
in
case,
mutual aid.
Kevin, then it shouldn't go to parades.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If that's the case,
Yeah.
if we have to
If
hold
that's
it
how the
as
board
a
feels,
sacred,
if that's how the board
life-saving
feels, then fine.
equipment, that it can never leave
Everybody's
the
entitled to
station
opinion.
unless it's for an emergency call, then it should never leave to go to a parade, because it can break down on its way to a parade, it can get into an accident on its way to a parade. If we can't utilize it as our village equipment, then I don't think it shouldn't be utilized for anything else.
That's your opinion.
I agree, that's a really valid point.
That's your opinion.
But to not even receive a phone call when, like you just said, how do you do that? How do you not even respond? I mean, we're talking, it's something that's been past practice too. How do you not even respond to the request?
They're down there Monday night, we can stop by
It's
Monday
just
night.
peculiar, don't you think?
Yeah, I guess, I don't know.
I don't know, usually when you call and request somebody in their official capacity, you at least get a response. But that's fine.
That's all I have.
All right. You may recall in the December 27th meeting that I said we have a problem with street lights on West Main Street, right-hand side going up. Some of you don't know, at the first snowfall last year, a state truck hit one and leveled it. The next one up, we think got hit by a car, but we're not sure. That went down. The third one got hit and it's leaning toward a house window. The next one up, I'm told the wind blew it down. Again, this is all shoddy work. We paid a lot of money for it.
Or engineering.
I'm not for replacing them, and I think that was the consensus of the board. So what we talked about was the one that's leaning. We talked about two things. The one that's leaning, and we also talked about the ones that were knocked down, and now we have a trip hazard of the base going up. I took this one on because there wasn't anybody else around to do it. We talked about having the highway department take the leaning one down. It's very dangerous. There are a lot of cars out there, and we're not equipped to do that kind of work. I did reach out to our electrician, who I know has a cherry picker. He agreed to do it. He'll take it down. He didn't tell me the cost, but he didn't seem to think it was a big deal. He goes up with his cherry pick. They're not that heavy. It's probably why the wind blew it down. And he can take it and put it somewhere else. It's still good. We might even be able to use it down at the highway garage or somewhere. So I'm doing that, but highway superintendent did say he could help us with saw cut around the obstacles that are there now,
Jackhammer.
whatever it is, to at least save labor costs on that. And then he put the electrician will mix cement and put it in there and put a plate over each one. So that will solve the safety problem. As you know, I'm the safety manager too. When we had our safety audit here in the buildings recently, well, which by the way, we received an award from the state for being the most safety conscious municipality of hundreds of them. We came out on top, and I got a beautiful statue upstairs given to us from them. We put a lot of effort into it, and we're very proud of that. We met, and the problem we have now, one of the few remaining problems, is the stairwell next door. I don't know if everyone's familiar with that, but if you come in the door next to that one, going into the village hall, and then you make the left to the stairwell, we can't have anything there that you can see, boxes, things like that. So I went out to get quotes for a door to be put at the bottom of the stairwell so we can still have storage under the stairwell, which is quite a bit of space there. And I need it for my election equipment too. I had quotes from $10,000 to a local contractor for $4,800. Pete Windheim is the low bidder. He does a lot of work around. He's already done some work for us here in the village. I got with the treasurer, there are funds for that. I would ask the board to allow me to hire this Mr. Windheim to do that work. It's pretty involved, but again, he's a local guy and that's what he does, and he's given us a fair price.
So are you looking for a vote on this for tonight?
I am.
Engage?
Yeah.
I am, because I gotta get it done.
If it's allocated, there's a line.
Yeah.
She has funds to cover that 4.8.
They'll
Okay.
provide
Is there a
insurance.
motion, is there a motion
They'll
to,
provide insurance, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
I'll
has.
make that motion for
I'll
you.
second that motion. Good job, John. Thank you.
thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mayor votes aye, carried.
Trustee Ponte is not here for recreation.
I'll speak on her behalf. So I didn't make the Halloween trunk or treat. I heard it was a success and there's a lot of people there. Help out on that one.
Over 500 people, over 300 kids.
It was excellent.
Yes,
It was really excellent.
good job on the recreation. And once again, there's gonna be a Christmas parade. It's gonna start from Maple Street and go into Mizzier Park with Santa Claus. That's gonna be December 27th at 6 p.m. At 6 p.m.
December what?
No,
No, November.
Oh, no, November, sorry, my fault.
getting early for that.
2 days later.
My fault, yeah, November 27th at 6.
Kevin, did you say November 27th?
Yeah, November 27th.
Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Like we usually do, Saturday after Thanksgiving. Well, we used to do it Sunday, but we waited for John.
The mayor,
And I will just say, I was at the Halloween event with my family, my wife and kids did a trunk, and it was really great. I was really impressed by the turnout. We were all nervous because the rain date, and then they moved it, but we had a great showing. People from the village, families I know don't live in the village. It attracted a lot of people, and it was really great. Trent and Patty Atkinson donated the use of their entertainment system, so we had music, and because our DJ couldn't come to the rain date. And believe it or not, it would have been missed to not have the music. We played all kind of appropriate stuff. It was a great turnout, all volunteer run, and it was great to see. So thanks to all the volunteers, really. A lot of happy faces, a lot of kids were stoked to have it.
I think the mayor already spoke about water. Do you have anything else?
Well, just to the extent that the Water Board is working its way through some ongoing issues relative to water.
Hopefully it'll be resolved by December. Hopefully. One of the issues.
Yeah, maybe one of the issues. What is critical right now is that we are gonna be entering into some negotiations between the village and the joint water board. For those who are not versed with that term, that's the city of Poughkeepsie and the town of Poughkeepsie is the joint water board, and they control the water treatment plant where they get the water, they get water from the Hudson River, and then they sell surplus water. And so because we are on one well 7, we don't have an adequate backup. So we are being hard pressed by the Department of Health to get this emergency connection through the town of Poughkeepsie, so we have an emergency backup water supply. At the same time, the water commissioners and the operators are hedging, which they have two options for the filtration to get the manganese and the iron out of the water. So they've got two options, and they're working their way through which option to select. Until they do, we can't even submit a grant for the filtration plant because you need the design phase of the project complete by engineering. So, and if we negotiate this contract with the Joint Water Board, more than likely, it's going to be take or pay. Is that the correct term? Craig, take or pay?
Yeah.
Where you negotiate a set amount of gallons you need, say 500,000 gallons a day. If you don't take it, you still have to pay for it. And so, without the water commissioners saying which way they want to go on this filtration, it is very difficult, because we may get the negotiations settled before the water plant is built. That's my fear. And then we will have to take the water unnecessarily. We know we're going to need some of the water if in fact whatever process they choose for the plant, when the time comes to hook it up in its entirety, you disengage the existing right now and you go to the new piping. And that's only for a few days. But the bigger fear is that it will be extended on the take or pay. So we would just take the water that we really don't need if we didn't have a well failure. That's the biggest fear right now. So I make this statement that we have issues going on besides the normal common items that crop up in the course of daily business with the water department. And then, of course, as was previously mentioned, the longtime clerk is retiring. God bless her, after 30-plus years. And so we'll be working the county list for that position. And then on another note, we will work another list from the county for part-time grant writers. And we'll see how that goes. And then I have 2 other people that, as long as I stay under the dollar threshold, they can be hired under a personal service contract without going through the civil service aspect of it. So we got some stuff that's going to be taking place fairly soon. And then we have, there's no secret, at least maybe to us, but maybe to the general public, the state is auditing our books. And so I surmise there will be a fair amount of critiques. For 5 of us on this board, it's going to be an awakening. I mean, yes, I was on the board, but I haven't been on the board for 10 years. We have 4 other people who are new, who just got elected in May. So it's going to be an eye-opener. But I surmise there will be a lot of critiques that we'll have to address. Now, in the course of business, we found a few items, and we're trying to resolve them as we see them, so that the punch list isn't as tall as a 6-foot ladder, so to speak. So that's it. And so, Trustee Niznik, personnel?
I just wanted to ask that the previous motion about the hiring of Salem, if we could amend that to be conditional upon passing of his background check. It's not completed.
Do you want to amend the motion?
Yes. Conditional upon his background check being complete.
Does everyone agree? All
Yeah.
in favor of that addition?
Aye.
Aye. Mayor votes aye. Trustee Huber?
And as far as personnel, I think you pretty much just said it all.
Mayor, before you entertain any motions,
You need old business, new business?
new business, and our clerk is gonna cringe as I recite what just happened in Albany on Monday. So Governor Hochul just signed some legislation that all bodies that have a website have to post the minutes of any meeting within 2 minutes of that 2 weeks of that meeting, 2 minutes. 2 weeks of that meeting online. So that means our website is going to have to be, monitored. Our meetings are going,
I do that.
yeah.
I
So
do that. It's always been a rule of 10 days to have the minutes completed, and I upload them to the website.
Nice.
Good.
Yes.
You cannot upload them to the website, though, until they're approved. And they're not approved within 10 days.
That was under the old way. So in this particular situation, we can comply with the law by having the video just be our unabridged version of our meetings, and you can upload that. They do not have to be approved to comply with the law, although we should, still adopt our meetings at the next meeting if there are any changes or modifications to clarify, something within the meeting. Okay.
So Chris is doing the meeting right now, right?
Rich, you mean?
Rich. He's doing the meeting now. He'll probably have that out there tonight, I guess. Does it pretty quick.
It's out there already.
It's out there already. So I try to do the written minutes like the next day while it's all fresh in my head. And then I upload them to the website after you approve them. So I think we're in good shape on that, Attorney.
Okay. That's our Board of Trustees, but we also have our other boards that we're going to have to comply with.
Well, that's a good point.
That's our Planning Board, our ZBA, and our Water Board.
This is 2 weeks,
Has to be within 2 weeks, so those minutes.
so
will have
that's
to be
planning,
posted.
zoning, water board meetings.
And any other boards I may not have,
Right.
named just now.
Okay.
So, we just want, that law goes into effect on November 18th.
You're not talking committee meetings, you're just talking board meetings, right?
That's correct.
Well, we do have a problem with that because we don't always tape our meetings.
We're gonna have to have somebody who's adept at taking minutes, because that is,
Oh, I do the minutes of all the meetings, but I don't put them out there. I don't do a video of them.
the board may have to consider videotaping all of our boards now to comply with the law. We could talk about that.
Sounds like a grant item for
Another extra expense, yeah,
Yeah.
great,
meetings.
super.
The only way to comply is we could unabridged audio or video recordings or unabridged transcripts. So that complies with the law. They don't have to be video, but they have to be at least audio taped.
Well, that's not unusual either, because we used to do that.
Planning board
Planning
always
board
has a tape.
still does that.
And the water
Mercedes
board,
tapes every
Kenny
month.
always has a tape at the water board meeting.
Maria
Maria
White was taping the
Village Hall.
Okay,
board meeting.
then it would just be a matter of me getting a tape recorder.
Yeah.
She does now?
Oh, she does?
So we're gonna have to get an official recording. Somebody's gonna have to be in charge of that at every meeting. And then take that recording and give it to whoever's gonna post, so that we can comply with that new law.
January what?
This goes into effect next week.
Great news.
It's like saying yesterday.
It's live.
It's happened on Monday.
Oh,
You
geez,
did say
really?
you were
Hot
gonna
off the
cringe.
press.
Oh,
Yeah,
I take it back. Not your fault.
so,
Okay.
that's it,
Good
Mayor.
looking out.
Okay, Any other business from the board members? Okay. Any items the public wants to talk about? Yes.
Hi, I'm Joseph. I just moved into the area and I wanted to present potentially just some ideas and interest in leading or spearheading beautification efforts, seeing where we stand as a community. I did some research before I came here. I'm really, really passionate about that stuff. I work for Red Cedar Landscape and I live right on West Main Street, so I'm a villager. And I'm really interested in seeing, kind of taking a proactive grassroots approach to it and seeing what the rest of the community feels we can do to help improve the overall appeal and move the commission forward from the 2019, I think, or was it 2006, idea that they had commissioned with the town, and it's kind of on pause, or a lot of things get taken care of year by year, I think. Like they go through the list, I heard, and see what they can manage for the year. But I'd like to take a grassroots approach to it. I've been really getting to know the area a lot, and I really want to move forward with that idea and see what we can do over the winter in terms of promoting some ideas and getting together meetings or a subcommittee of some sort. But I wanted to first ask you permission to potentially do that and move forward and to get your ideas of where you are and where you stand so that we can formally approach this without crossing any barriers or issues.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm not sure what the process would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, would that fall under the Economic Development Committee
Well,
umbrella where he could
we
be?
had no, it could be, we had no interest from the past members. I think Mike can speak to it, but I was told basically by the other members that,
It's gone into hiatus.
yeah, there was a lack of interest, but it could be, I'm not totally sure what you're looking to do, so I can't really say where it would go. What is it that you're, when you say like, you'd like to spearhead a grassroots?
Yeah, just I really kind of get an idea of where the whole community stands, individuals, my neighbors, see even if there's like local garden
We're
clubs.
neighbors, by the way.
We are, yeah.
Well,
I
I
wanted to
think
meet a couple of
you're, excuse me, I think you might more be looking
No, there's
at,
across the street from me then.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's in the old McCluskey house.
Okay, yeah, right across the street from me.
Yeah, I know.
The old Matt Alexander
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
Are you like thinking about maybe a mailer to the residents, asking them to reply to some?
I really kind of first wanted to go across with you guys, since you're the leadership of the town, to know, to the village, excuse me, where you stand with this in the past and also looking forward. If there's smaller efforts that we could potentially manage as a community, and the larger aspects of it and fundraising that we would be able to do a grassroots approach to fundraising to establish a nice fund that we could potentially take out of and pay for collectively. So I work for Red Cedar and we're really interested in working with the community as well. I'm working on some things with Rhinebeck personally, and I volunteer up there as well with their tree commission. And so we're kind of developing really great crossroads and intelligence. And
So this is more like a beautification project.
it's a beautification for the region and kind of like really, grabbing onto what the villages want to showcase. And it's not necessarily towns or cities. We're looking at the villages, a network of villages.
So we should probably have a
separate
meeting with
meeting.
anyone who I'd be happy to meet with you, and I'm sure there's other, and we can kind of get a feel for, what we can all
Where
do
we wanna
together.
take this.
I think sometimes it's tricky if it's a committee, and you guys would all be able to probably say better, but I know for me, when I was doing the Economic Development Committee, there was we were prohibited from taking donations, I believe. Monetary donations, at least that's what the previous treasurer had told us. So it may be something that we kind of can walk together, and you are doing your own, private thing, so you can do get those funds from residents, but we can kind of walk together. But
I just know that you have a lot of expenses that I'm hearing that I don't think that beautification is on the top list of expenditures.
well, we work on it. I mean, we have beautification. We had a great pilot program that Clerk Carge did this summer.
And
where they gave
there is money
flowers
out
to-
there, the state and a lot of different organizations can give us. But I just wanted to see like if we could potentially help as a
Sure.
community.
Have you reached out, I'm sorry, Joseph, have you reached out at all to the Historical Society and Beth Divine, or maybe Cindy Latino at all?
I have not
We
yet.
can put you in touch with them too.
Yeah, I really, this whole, me being here was all about feeling out where you guys stand. And, just walking cautiously, because I literally moved in August, and I'm not adept to the politics around here either, so.
Well, we're receptive, and also know a lot of the blight is actually on private property. So we can't beautify absentee landlord properties.
Sure.
So we do try to beautify the village, and that'd be great. It's awesome to see the passion. It's
Yeah,
great.
I-
And there are a lot of other people that will
Sure.
put their arms around you and be excited that you're saying all of this stuff, because they say it too. I think it's hard for us to get them all together.
I know that I used to live outside of Boston in Everett, Massachusetts, and I headed their beautification program there, and I learned a lot about the process. I put local areas on national registers in Geneva, New York, where I went to college, and I'm really able to speak to the DOT, the Department of Transportation, and understanding like what scenic byways options there are for historical villages and sites. So I'm really passionate about those types of things, and because I live in the village, it's really important to me personally. But somebody that loves plants and trees and sees the potential in what that can do to a community, and in terms of increasing economic activity and interest, I think that that's something that we should look into. So.
Yeah. Maybe you can help us get the lights on the Christmas tree.
Right, exactly.
Cool.
Well, we could try.
Well, thank you for that, and if I can help you in any way with hooking you up with the Historical Society, it might be a good idea to attend one of their meetings.
Yeah, they're on my list to target very soon.
Good. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll connect.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for
I'll
coming.
come over. We'll talk.
Oh, come over, yeah.
Yeah, I'll come over.
We were both decorating it.
With that said, I'll entertain a motion to go to executive
I'll
session
make that motion.
I'll second that. No, we all
to
second that.
discuss. We have 3 or 4 items to discuss in executive session.
You have to put that on the record. Pending litigation.
Yes.
The attorney advises me that for the record,